Morning, huh?
Yeah, it's lovely. You know, this is a historic show because here on December 10th, I am no longer ever going to say President Donald Trump in the same sentence.
You
Isn't
and me
that
both,
wonderful?
And I'm never going to do it. You know what I'm going to do?
Tell us.
I'm going to always now say Crazy Uncle Donald.
Well, it's definitely more fitting than President Trump.
Yeah.
I think what I'm gonna do is sleep at night.
Right. Right.
Exactly.
Or enjoy news, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, be able to watch the news and not be horrified.
I guess y'all have heard Ivanka's going to be governor of Florida.
Ivanka Trump, I can't wait.
I know.
Oh, I'm sure in the pseudo government they're gonna set up.
4, 3, 2.
Well, welcome to Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily and only LGBTQ evening news. It's time to queer up the news. It's December 10th, and Queer News Tonight will never again refer to Trump as president. Instead, we launch our new segment called Queering Up Crazy Uncle Donald. And tonight, we begin with his desire to join Texas to nullify America's Democratic election. And then, in the big finish, we are going to report that a pansexual Kazakhstani bodybuilder has wed a sex doll this week. You can't make this stuff up.
History is made as Drag Race Season 13 announces Gottmik, RuPaul's first trans queen. And in the big finish, we just can't get rid of Joe Exotic. This week he begs Kim Kardashian to help him get crazy Uncle Donald Trump's pardon. You can't make this crap up.
And finally, tonight we report history as a record-breaking 334 LGBTQ politicians were elected in 2020. Congratulations, America. And in the big finish, a rugby star opens up about being tricked into filming a gay sex video. Yeah, you can't make this shit up.
That's right. So good evening, LGBTQ world. It's 7 p.m. Thursday, December 10th, and we are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight. The world's first live daily queer evening news show. Out of the closet and into the headlines on Q News Tonight. Well, thank you for joining Queer News Tonight. This is a live, unedited LGBTQ evening news show. Whatever happens, you're going to see it tonight. And with Gordon and Athena, that should be lots of fun. This evening, we bring you the news of and a perspective from and representing the LGBTQ community from South Florida, America, and across the world. I'm your Queer News Tonight anchor, Al Ferguson. Tonight, let's welcome anchor Gordon Woodworth III. They, them is our genderqueer, non-binary Gen Zer host on Gay Town Hall Alive, and tonight, every Thursday night at 8 p.m. and is currently a data entry and triage specialist at the nonprofit organization Broward House, as well as now a notary in helping the LGBTQ community get legally married for free. Welcome, Gordon.
Thanks, Al, and to all those that celebrate, I would love to say Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah. Next, let's welcome anchor Athena Dion, one of South Florida's brightest and most beloved drag performance entertainers. She is CEO of the premier drag entertainment company in South Florida called Dream Queens. She is Miami's very own Greek goddess and has dual hosting roles at the famous R House in Wynwood here in South Florida, and also summers headlining at the famous Jackie O Resort in Mykonos, Greece. Welcome, Athena.
Thank you so much.
All right, so tonight we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ community in South Florida and America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast, and here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Thursday, December 10th. First up, we queer up crazy Uncle Donald. 18 states tell Supreme Court they support Texas bid to reverse the Biden win. Crazy Uncle Donald tweeted he wants to join Texas lawsuit on 5 states' election fraud. Well, he can't, and it's legally silly. But 18 states whose elections were won by President Donald Trump told the Supreme Court on Wednesday that they support Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton's bid to file a lawsuit that it could effectively reverse President-elect Joe Biden's projected electoral college victory for next week. The filing backing Paxton by those states came a day after he asked the Supreme Court for permission to sue Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, all over the Biden win over the voting process. Later Wednesday, Trump filed a motion to intervene in the case, quote, in his personal capacity, end quote, as a presidential candidate. The Supreme Court has yet to rule on Paxton's request. The states supporting the suit included Florida. More than 50 presidents of U.S. law schools have commented in the last 24 hours that this legal strategy was beyond any successful path. Hence, why Queer News Tonight launches our stories now about crazy Uncle Donald.
I hope everybody is really paying attention to this moment, because this is a lot like what we saw in 2000, but there's a whole new flavor happening here, and to be honest with you, it's only a few degrees away from straight up treason.
I don't think any of us are surprised that he's pulling these kind of stunts, to be honest with you. We knew he wasn't going to concede, and we knew he was going to go kicking and screaming, and here's just another kick and another scream in his exit out of the White House.
Everyone has a crazy uncle. Everyone. What our families, all of our families, do better than the United States of America is to recognize the crazy uncle and just ignore them.
Just nod and
Just nod.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Right.
Next week, we're at business. Hashtag DragForAllFlavors, crack a smile with Merrie Cherry. Bubbly's hashtag DragForAllFlavors campaign is helping support and amplify New York City-based drag queens and kings whose performances have been put on pause since March because of the current ongoing global health crisis. Pride.com is introducing LGBTQ America to many of the queens and began with Merrie Cherry. Over the next week, we'll be interviewing some queens and kings who will help us meet all the flavors of the holiday season, as told through drag. And first up is Merrie Cherry. The Bubbly campaign is unique in that it features drag queens but focuses on the local community and queens.
All right, let's queer up entertainment. Meet Gottmik, Drag Race Season 13's history-making trans queen. Watch this.
Oh yes, stunning. Love it. I need to be the first trans winner of RuPaul's Drag Race, period. Hi, I'm Gottmik, I'm 23 years old, and I'm from Los Angeles, California. It means so much for me to be on the show right now, especially being a trans guy going in a feminine perspective of a trans guy. The trans movement is getting so big, so powerful, so strong. I'm America's Next Drag Superstar because I'm ready to get on the show, try to win this crown from my community, and now we just have to crown it and call it a day.
2021 will mark a change to the RuPaul's Drag Race Runiverse. On January 1st, the show's 13th season will premiere, and with it will come the first trans masculine contestant to enter the workroom. That performer will be Gottmik, who follows Season 9's Peppermint as the second trans performer ever to compete on the regular season on the show that has spoken openly about their gender since the casting announcement. The moment comes after years of contentious conversation about the show's casting practices, which have excluded trans performers as well as other versions of drag like drag kings and bearded performers. But Gottmik's ascent is in no way paying lip service to the do the bare minimum. Some have contended that other performers like Sonique, who appeared in a Hollis Slay special, as well as Gia Gunn in All Stars 3, were done simply to appease, but presents a contestant who could actually walk away with the crown. Quote, "I need to be the first trans winner of RuPaul's Drag Race, period," end quote, they say in their meet the Queens video. But as we all know, Drag Race loves a performer who has a narrative that people can fall in love with, and Gottmik is full of nuances and intricacies to his experience that he can convey to the viewers in the workroom confessionals.
I'm curious. A lot of RuPaul experience here at Queer News Tonight. My experience with the show and the Queens. Athena, I understand you have just submitted your application for RuPaul, which I think is fantastic. I'm curious for you, Athena, your first reaction of this trans queen announcement. What's your first reaction to her participation?
Well, I'm just glad that a show like RuPaul's Drag Race that has ascended to the platform that it has is starting to really acknowledge all the different performers that we have in our community. And I think the more we talk about it, the more we normalize this, you know, the more we end stigma attached to trans performers, attached to all the members of our community. So I think it's huge that they're taking responsibility with the platform that they have. And I really, really commend RuPaul, and I commend everybody at the network for that.
You know, a quick follow-up, because I think this story is really fascinating. I have listened to this storyline for a decade. Do you think in first announcement, I know it's brand new, you're seeing it brand new, what's your first reaction? Can Gottmik win RuPaul's Drag Race season 13?
I think it's any drag queen's game to win, you know, and just seeing, this is my first, you know, exposure to Gottmik. I've never heard of this performer before. So, I mean, if you just look at that visual, that's stunning. And the personality is there. They've got it all, you know, and I really am excited to see what's going to happen this season.
Me too. I was really curious. Gordon, any thoughts that you have on
Yes, I am glad to see that another trans person is going to be on the show, especially one that is trans masculine. That being said, he doesn't really fit the definition of the people that RuPaul said he wasn't going to let be on the show, that being people who have top surgery or cisgendered women. And I think that it's always been interesting to me that the show is called RuPaul's Drag Race, because to me it's almost like a mistitle, because it should be RuPaul's Drag Queen Race, or RuPaul's idea of what drag is race, because to me, drag is about everybody, and everybody can participate in drag. I'm glad that we're moving forward, but I'm still expecting there to be more.
You know, both of your observations I think are outstanding, because we're going to be talking about this storyline every single week as the season unveils, because that's going to be the heart of, regardless of the greatness of the queens that are participating, this is going to be the heart of the political story that the LGBTQ community is talking about.
I just hope that that her transgender queerness or how she identifies doesn't overshadow her talent. You know what I mean? I hope that we can look at all the talent across the board and just, you know, accept the drag queens for who they are on the table as a performer. You know, we can put aside what we identify as well.
Yeah.
Well, if the Boulay brothers can do it, RuPaul can do it.
Correct.
And that's a very interesting observation. Let's continue. Next up is Queering Up Entertainment. The super gay vampire series True Blood is going to get a reboot in treatment at HBO. The popular vampire soap True Blood looks to rise from the grave at HBO. The original TV series, based on the Southern Vampire Mysteries novel series by Charlaine Harris, ran from 2008 to 2014 on the same network. Oscar-winning writer Alan Barr created the show and served as showrunner for 5 seasons. Now HBO looks to revive True Blood from the dead. Writers Roberto Sagassa and Jamie O'Brien will return to pen the new pilot script. Ball will return to executive produce. At this point, it's not clear if the new show will be a true reboot or more of a revival that will see original cast members reprise their characters. At this time, Variety reports, for example, that none of the original cast are yet set to return. HBO is yet to announce a release date for the project. Should the network see the show all the way through to resurrection, Queer News Tonight hopes it will maintain its penchant for queer positivity and especially as well as male nudity.
This is exciting to me because now we're going to have a second generation of queer people that are going to be able to say, watching True Blood is how I realized that I was gay.
I'm so excited. I love True Blood. I was such a True Blood junkie, so I'm excited to see what's going to happen now.
My 50th birthday party, True Blood, I have some friends connected with the show. They had a True Blood birthday party for me, and we actually had the prop sets of True Blood, which is kind of a tomato-y juice drink. It was one of my favorite shows at the time and continues to be something that I've been thrilled to watch, especially, surprise, surprise, the male nudity.
All right, well, let's queer up politics. The results are in. A record-breaking 334 LGBTQ+ politicians were elected in 2020. This year's rainbow waves shine brighter than ever, according to the Victory Fund, an LGBTQ political action group which encourages out candidates to run for office. Claims that more queer and transgender people were elected to office during the 2020 election cycle than any year in history. This week, the organization published an updated count of its candidate tracking data and found that 782 known LGBTQ+ candidates were on the ballot in 2020. Of those candidates, a significantly large share won their respective races. 334 went on to victory, marking an extraordinarily high 42.7% success rate. Queer, cisgender women were among the most likely to win election, with exactly 50% of this group eventually prevailing in November or other special elections held throughout the year. Victory Fund reports that 14 of the 38 transgender women who ran for office in 2020 triumphed, marking a 36.9% win rate. Even better, 41.5% of self-identified gay candidates secured victory. Anise Parker, the organization's president and CEO, said these unprecedented numbers once seemed impossible, as LGBTQ+ representation in politics has long lagged behind the real world. In 2017, the organization's estimated that 21,307 LGBTQ+ people would need to be seated in office to match the community's population.
Well, good news and bad news here. The good news is we're at an all-time high in the LGBTQ community. If we were doing queer news tonight on December 10th, 2003, there would be no reporting even close to this. That's the good news. The bad news is how Athena just finished that story. Our catch-up is still quite significant, and that is not as much in federal office in Congress, but in terms of state and local trickle down. And that's what's going to be next, and that's what faces us in our challenge for the next decade.
Yeah, I think that the fact that so many gay people have been elected is a good sign, but I also am very cautious when I hear news reporting things that are strictly identity politics. It's really what this is. And there's really only one side of the aisle that really cares about identity politics to this degree. So I just warn people on the left that sometimes saying that someone's gay or their identity is a red herring. Look at Obama, for example. He was a black man and he ran on that. The Democratic Party pushed that he was going to be the first of any party to be a black man in the presidential office. But look what his presidency turned out to be. He was very moderate, and there wasn't a lot of change, and we ended up with Trump and the problems that we are dealing with now. So I think it's really important for people to remember, vote for the person because they represent what you believe in, not just because they are like you culturally.
You know, I really like what you said there, and I have to agree, I don't like identity politics. I do like you to vote based on policy and what the people are really going to do for change, but at the same time, I do love hearing about news like this, so it's kind of a double-edged sword.
And Gordon, run for office. Athena, run for office.
Look for it, for sure. Athena
Next,
for president.
we are going to queer up the world. 18 schools nationwide pioneer a program creating a safe space for LGBTQ students. Ireland's announcement could be a blueprint of what can occur in the United States. 18 schools across Ireland have today launched their participation in Belong to LGBTI+ Safe and Supportive Schools project to improve the lives of LGBTQ students. The partnership is a groundbreaking whole school approach with the aim of creating an environment that is fully inclusive of LGBTQ students, which will in turn change the lives of thousands of LGBTQ youth across Ireland for the better. The program is deemed important because while 68% of LGBTQ students say they have heard anti-LGBTQ remarks from other students, a shocking 48% report hearing homophobic remarks, and a further 55% reported hearing transphobic remarks from teachers and staff members. Let's hope the new Biden administration's Secretary of Education will eye Ireland's dramatic move to protect all of their students.
Next, we queer up the world. Turkey puts 19 people on trial for Pride March. Most are students. Turkey is prosecuting 18 students and 1 teacher for their participation in a Pride event at a local university last year. If convicted, they face up to 3 years in prison. The trials are set for today. Pride and all other LGBTQ+ events have been banned in Turkey since 2014, but a court lifted the ban and allowed the year's event to take place. Still, police ignored the ruling and responded violently to those in attendance. Nils Muiznieks, Europe's director for Amnesty International, said, quote, "In the summer of 2019, students and others peacefully participating in a celebration of love and solidarity were met with police pepper spray, plastic bullets, and tear gas. 19 of them have also been dragged through the courts on baseless criminal charges and face absurd jail sentences," unquote. The 19 individuals have been charged with participating in an unlawful assembly and failing to disperse when ordered to do so. In separate anti-LGBTQ news in Turkey, the country claimed this week that rainbows hurt children's mental health in chilling clampdown on LGBT+ pride merchandise. Turkey may face tremendous pressure from the 2021 Biden administration for their policies toward their LGBTQ community.
Interesting. Well, that is our queer headlines for today. Let's catch up on the LGBTQ news surrounding COVID-19 with our special segment called Quarantine Quickies. Tonight, we report the devastating effect coronavirus has had on the American and worldwide LGBTQ community in total cases and deaths. So let's queer up Quarantine Quickies. Bill Nye, the science guy, says it's not that hard. Wear your mask. You know, at Queer News Tonight, we have reported on COVID-19 every single broadcast since January 6, 2020. We have repeatedly advised the most important defense for the LGBTQ community is to wear a mask. But this week, when Bill Nye, the science guy, said it, we instantly knew he does it better than us and deserved to be heard in our LGBTQ community. Watch this.
I'm kidding. Greetings, Bill Nye here with more on masks. Here's a map of the United States. The red ink shows where people are wearing masks. The black ink shows where people are getting sick with coronavirus. I hope you can see the fewer the masks, the more the sick. And there's a perception that a virus can travel through the fibers of a mask like this red dot. Because viruses don't travel by themselves. They travel in little droplets of spit and snot. And the fibers are a tangle. So when the droplet gets into the fibers of a mask, it gets trapped. This is not that hard to understand, everybody. That's why we have rules about wearing a mask. Now you know about rules. You pay taxes on the whole road, but you only get to drive on one side at a time. Otherwise, so everyone, please wear a mask. Thank you. Oh, you can hear me fine, right through the mask.
I just love this because those of us who work in infectious disease have been telling people to wear condoms for years. And now we have to tell them to wear condoms and masks. And people treat them like they're the same and equally don't use them just as much.
Yeah.
Maybe we need Bill Nye to do a condom video. I want some visuals.
Well, it depends on who. No, we're going to put the condom on Bill Nye? No.
You don't know what I'm into, Al.
Yeah.
I mean, you can
Right.
get it, Science Daddy.
Right, exactly. Bill Nye says it absolutely perfectly. We have said the phrase. By the way, has everybody heard Yale Libraries and Law School has made wear a mask. They've just come out with the 10 most popular phrases of 2020. Wear a mask was number one, coined by Anthony Fauci in March of 2020. Bill Nye does it beautifully. Please don't ignore it. Wear a mask. The vaccine's coming, but until you have it, wear a mask.
That is our COVID-19 news for tonight. Next, we report that Happening Out Television Network helps support our LGBTQ community. An example is Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. We are broadcasting from our permanent set in supporting that partnership. The network broadcasts the largest LGBTQ religious broadcast in the world, with more than 30,000 watching every Sunday night at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and it's totally live. We encourage you to tune in. Our campaign of sponsorship proudly supports Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church. Watch this.
This is Orlando Gonzalez. I'm the Executive Director of Safeguarding American Values for Everyone, also known as SAVE, and Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
We'd also like to thank our set designer, Concepto Modern Living, here in Fort Lauderdale for making this set in this amazing queer church campus possible. Finally, we thank Queer News Tonight's hotel sponsor, Best Western I-95 Fort Lauderdale. This is the closest and best choice to the famous Wilton Drive, and our hosts and guests stay at this LGBTQ ally partner. We encourage you to stay here when visiting South Florida.
Well, at Queer News Tonight, we are proud to launch our brand new Thursday night business professional segment. We are calling NetWerQ, right? Where we will highlight and network live with local LGBTQ business leaders, individuals, and organizations. And make sure to follow Queer News Tonight. All of our Happening Out television network platforms now are on LinkedIn, so follow us there. Here to kick off our first segment is the gay professional network and community OutBüro. OutBüro's mission is to connect the world's LGBTQ employees, professionals, and entrepreneurs with opportunities to grow in their careers and grow their companies. They strive to connect companies and organizations that support LGBTQ corporate equality with quality candidates while providing a voice and insight into workplace culture and LGBTQ workplace issues, including inclusivity such as those with disabilities. OutBüro's services are designed to promote economic opportunity for their members by enabling you and thousands of other gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual, queer professionals, along with diversity recruiting professionals and our friends and allies to meet, post job opportunities, create a professional profile, store or submit your resume, find quality diversity candidates, exchange ideas, learn, and find business opportunities, all while making decisions in a network of trusted relationships within an LGBTQ professionally oriented, safe and accepting platform. And did we mention that its founder also built and curated and moderates LinkedIn's largest LGBTQ group with over 46,000 professionals? To tell us a bit more about OutBüro and in his belief of when individuals see a collective group, they feel are not alone, it's the founder and chief queer officer, love that phrase, of Denis Velco. Welcome, Denis, to our first network business professional segment here at Queer News Tonight. Good evening, Denis.
Hi there, Al. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm going to stand still and let Steve kind of zoom in on me right there and center it up. Much appreciate you having me here on the show. Appreciate the introduction, and it just also realized, wow, that's a quite a long mission statement and so forth that I have on the website. But I do appreciate the thoroughness there. So one, just a really quick info for everyone. Yes, coming in this April, I started one of the very first LGBT professional networking groups on LinkedIn in April. That'll be 13 years old, and there is a little over 46,500 global members as we speak. And I started that as a kind of a volunteer thing back 13 years ago because I was traveling extensively and just really wanted a way to connect instead and have something to do whenever I was traveling 80+% of my time as a professional consultant. And through all of that time, I've heard from so many people from within the US and around the world that even though their employer might have achieved 100% score on a corporate equality index in whatever country they're in, that often it's never ever has actual employee input. So in creating OutBüro with the umlaut, that's German, it means office in German. So, and you pronounce it exactly like news, a bureau. So OutBüro. So if you can think like what Glassdoor is, Glassdoor.com, or for those in the audience who are in Europe, Kununu is very popular. There are employee ratings, so where employees can rate their employers. So OutBüro has where you can join for free, as all of you listening right now can come to the website and join for free. Start filling out your professional profile. It's super simple. You can even copy and paste a lot from your LinkedIn account. And there's always a choice. So for example, if you're not an entrepreneur, there's an answer for, nope, not me. But filling out that information as the site grows will give opportunity for recruiters to find you. If you are a business owner, you can also add not only your professional profile, but your business profile to get ratings from customers. Businesses with employees can also add their listing for that. It is an employer branding platform. And we ask lots of information, getting down to the owner's political donations, talking about that political stuff a little earlier. Their inclusive talent acquisition policies and so forth. There's lots of info there, and I have some videos on the site as well. So I know my time is limited here.
Yeah, and Dennis, I wanted to ask you, I know one of the things that many viewers will be curious about in terms of joining, if you're a member of LinkedIn, to join, to follow OutBüro, is the kind of businesses that are in the membership. Is it only small businesses, intermediate, giant corporate structures? Who are members?
Yes. So the site hard launched this last March. And in addition, I'm also doing interviews, which is quite time consuming, as you well know. And so in amongst all of that is I'm growing as a business. And so there is a real chicken and the egg thing. This isn't as simple as opening a coffee shop on Wilton Drive and having everybody walk by and just, drop on in and have their coffee, right? This is about getting people onto the site, starting using the site, sharing their content and so forth. And also I'm having conversations with many types of organizations right now. I can't unfortunately publicly say their name until they do sign the agreement to come on board. But we will say a international with a US headquarters, major nonprofit organization that has health clubs in many cities, we will say. There are many organizations, several organizations that have internet properties and internet services that, if I were to say, anyone in business would know. And there are some other interesting companies that I'm starting to have dialogue with, even a fast food chain with a historical bad reputation in the LGBT community.
I like
who would like to work, who has been working very hard, and wanting to partner to further improve that, because OutBüro is for any employer, any size, anywhere in the world. Yeah. And it is priced based on the number of employees. So if you're just a business of say 1 to 3 employees, I would just throw out, because I'm talking to a gay audience, honey, if you can afford Grindr and you own a business, you can afford OutBüro. Plus, it's a business right out.
Dennis, that also makes me ask: if you're not a member of LinkedIn, do you communicate via website, other social media platforms, or only in LinkedIn?
Well, OutBüro as a whole is on several platforms. One, our own platform, which is like Glassdoor.com and LinkedIn hooked up and had a gay baby. So there is a whole community side of OutBüro. There's activity streams, there's groups that you can join and create. You can connect with other members on OutBüro.com and direct message them and so forth. But LinkedIn was the first, and there was really no intent whenever I first started it except to have some activity in the group. It started being branded as OutBüro about 24 months ago. But I also do business interviews. I have about 43 episodes out now on YouTube. I'm on 14 podcasting apps, all of the major ones, and I just got picked up by a relatively new LGBT on-demand television network. They're working on getting my episodes up live now. Hopefully that'll be by January 1, and in conversation with even a second on-demand LGBT network. So it's all about just creating content, because most of the LGBT, which is one thing I love about you guys here at Q News Network, is the information that you provide is a wide variety. And when you look at LGBT media as a whole, the vast majority is what I like to call fluff and clickbait. So it's just, it's not serious news. It's of clickbait, like, oh, this actor coming out of the beach on his Tahiti, and wow, he's got a wet Speedo on, a white wet Speedo. Look at that, bulge. And that gets people to click, and then they hope. Well,
Just kidding.
It is, but what I'm striving to do with OutBüro is it's more than just come on a social media site.
Exactly right.
It is professional connection. There's also the ability to flag content for inappropriate content, including hate speech, or someone posts something that maybe you're concerned about the safety of themselves or to others. But what OutBüro was growing to become is very much like a LinkedIn. And for the LGBT community. So for an example, if you have a small business and you would like to be found by businesses looking for diversity inclusion consulting, we're going to be working on helping to facilitate that. I'm right now in dialogue with a business incubator company that is based out of Columbus, Ohio. They have 6 new chapters, and we're looking at partnering. So also helping new businesses, get into a structured program to learn the great foundation of running a business, because when someone graduates from dentistry school and might be a great dentist, but no one taught her how to do marketing and legal and accounting and so forth, and so those skills can be taught, and how to create a great business plan, how to look for venture capital funding, which I'm connected in that world as well. And so we're really looking to not just be a social media site where you have yet another profile. No, there's actually going to be a very, very tight-knit reason to be in. So you right now can join OutBüro.com for free. You can actually add your employer, so you can rate your employers,
and
current
Dennis,
employer up to 5 years.
That's where you principally encourage people to go to OutBüro.com, or
yes,
OutBüro.com. And we've only got a few more minutes. I want to incorporate Gordon and Athena back. Anything from a professional standpoint? This is unique from my perspective of focusing on the professionalism in the LGBT community. Anything y'all want to ask?
Yeah, so being that I live in Florida, I'm keenly aware that we don't really have a lot of rights as employees. Florida is a right-to-work state. You can be fired for anything or no reason at all. So what I wanted to know is, again, being that I live in Florida, especially having lived in Orlando, I'm keenly aware that a lot of business will cater to the gay community because we can make them a lot of money, but without necessarily defending our rights. So I wanted to know, what exactly is required of a business to be on this website? Are you doing any kind of education or training to make sure preemptively that is dealt with? And also, what are you going to do to businesses that turn out to be bad actors? And are you going to remove them from the site, give them a probation? What is it?
Okay, I'll answer question number 2 first. No, they won't be removed from the site. So, and the reason is because the ratings, I do not rate OutBüro. Like HRC gives a self-reported rating to 1,000 companies and keeps them on the list, even though they have bad things that happen. Okay, but what OutBüro is it's your voice. It's where you rate the company. The company doesn't get to rate themselves. I don't rate them. It's your voice that matters. You're the person that's actually working for that employer, and you can say whether they have a good experience or not. Because there's also small businesses, let's say of only 10 employees, just like the coffee shop right next to the Hunters. I forget its name off the top of my head, but that only has like Java Boys, thank you. So that only has 6 or 7, employees. Their employees can go onto OutBüro.com for free, add that business, even without the employer yet subscribing to the site, with only 10% of functionality, so it's also simple, it's very short, and immediately rate them. So an employer can start giving your current and up to 5 years past employer history. You can start giving those employers ratings, good, bad, indifferent. Okay. So I'm looking for wonderful stories. I'm looking for those stories where companies need improvement. So they won't be just taken off the site because they got a bad rating. What that'll be is that's an opportunity for the diversity and inclusion consultants that I'm partnered with to begin to pick up the phone and say, hey, yo, have you seen your bad ratings here? You obviously need some help. This is going to remain public. You cannot take it off as a business. They cannot pay me to take it off. It's real. Yeah, by the way, we also require validation of employment, something to prove. So they're not just fake things. So getting back to your first, I'm sorry, I went on that for a minute where I almost forgot what your first question was.
Yeah, and actually we've come to the end of the time for this segment. I want to encourage people to go to the website, Denis Velco. This is our first implementation on Thursdays of NetWerQ. And we want to focus and have the opportunity for the LGBTQ community in South Florida and all across America to have professional advice and integration in the business community, your employment, etc. And so go to OutBüro.com, as we're showing you here. There is a very rich amount of content there, and consider, if you're not in LinkedIn, joining LinkedIn and going to OutBüro. Denis, we thank you very much for being with us tonight, and we're looking forward to our growing relationship with OutBüro and our commitment in supporting your efforts of business LGBTQ professionalism.
Awesome. Well, I so much appreciate it, and look forward to helping you guys grow and spread the information about what you're doing, because I absolutely love that you're focusing on more than just the fluff and bringing news and information to the LGBT community from our perspective. So I so much appreciate what you do.
I have to apologize to you. I wanted to incorporate Athena in the interview, but she's out back fluffing, right? No, I'm only playing. We're looking forward to the integration with OutBüro, and thank you, Denis, for being with us tonight at Queer News Tonight. All right, well, America, we're going to end tonight's broadcast with the big finish. Today's silly, or news that entertains the LGBTQ community. So first up, in the big finish, have you heard? There is a pansexual Kazakhstani bodybuilder who this week has wed a sex doll and actually got married.
Imagine being so bad at talking to women that you have to do this.
Honey, this is the future. It's COVID-free.
COVID-free.
STD-free, you know? Why not?
I stand up for the rights of everything. That's all I got.
Sure.
The big finish. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do one more of these stories. The executive producers forced them on me, by the way, Gordon. Joe Exotic. There, I said it. He has begged this week Kim Kardashian for help getting a presidential pardon from crazy Uncle Donald.
It's one cry for help to another cry for help.
I think if crazy Uncle Donald knew what he was doing, he would pardon him, and then they could have a reality show together after.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
In Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah. Tigers. And
well, if Ivanka Trump's going to be governor of Florida, he can be the mayor of Palm Beach.
Oh, absolutely.
Perfect sense.
And I'll be the king of Saturnalia.
Yeah, right. The big finish. This one, I can't wait to hear how Athena would explain this. A rugby star opens up about being tricked. He was tricked into filming a gay sex video, and he says it's haunted him for years.
If you think he opened up, you should see the other guy in this video.
I gotta get a good look at this picture.
But honestly, though, this is really sad because he was clearly manipulated and
clearly. He looks like he's the trick in the trick. Okay, he's talking about himself. I would love to know. I actually want to see how exactly he was tricked.
Yeah.
I want to see the video. I need to see everything.
Yes.
Just to be sure.
Yes. It wasn't that this was some kind of abusive relationship. He was tricked into having gay sex.
Bless his heart.
And he was paid for it also. It was just oral.
Right.
Was tricked into taking the money too.
Yeah, right. That's the big finish.
If that's a scar, then I'm scarred.
All right, well, that's today's news for the LGBTQ community on the world's first and only LGBTQ evening news show. Is our community important to you?
Then help us by liking and subscribing. Ring the bell for updates. Share this news. We are the only television live video news that is out of the closet and into the headlines, and we need your support.
I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson, and on behalf of anchors and apparently very scarred Gordon Woodworth III and apparently very scarred Athena Dion.
Fluffer champion of Wilton Manors.
Exactly. We will see you daily, every night at 7 p.m. Good night, America.
Good night.